Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Super Action Statue big versions of Jotaro, KUJO, and Star Platinum. And this set, well, it's not a set, these two figures came out a while ago, then they've been reissued as most of the SAS figures have been. So I don't know how relevant this review is, but I wanted the figures, and since I have them, I want to do a review for you guys, because I think it might be helpful to some of you. I know there are a lot of JoJo fans out there, and these guys have gone on sale at Big Bad Toy Store. There is a link in the description below. They're not on sale currently. I bought them because I saw that they were on sale, and I'm assuming they may end up going on sale again, and you may want to know about the figures if that happens. So I wanted to get these reviews out, or this review out. That's why I'm putting them both in one. I don't want to spend a ton of time on some older figures, but I thought it would be helpful to you guys. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to do a quick question the day before I take them off the stand, because I just want to get it out of the way. Which JoJo's story do you think is the best? For me, Stardust Crusaders definitely takes the cake. I love this whole arc. I think it is the most fun to watch. Maybe that's because it's the most in the vein of like a standard shonen type stuff with the kind of like weekly battles. But that's kind of how all of JoJo's is anyway. So let me know what you guys think. I do like this one a whole bunch, and it's lucky because they made the figures from it. Okay, let's go ahead and get them off the stand and take a closer look. All right, before we get into the figures, I do want to show you the packaging really quickly, because it is some primo packaging. It has this kind of a starburst effect. You can kind of see it on camera. It looks better when the studio lights aren't on, because it doesn't stand out as much as it is right now. Like, it's not everywhere all the time when you're looking at it under normal lighting. It's more sparkly, kind of like a Pokemon card, like a holographic card. Anyway, they're cool packages. Nice big window on the front. Good poses throughout. I'll show you both of them. They show you what they come with. Yeah, they're good packaging. I like them. SAS stuff is super high quality, generally speaking. And this is no different. These are ridiculously expensive though, which is why I mentioned the sale thing. If you don't get them on sale, I don't think they're even close to being worth getting. I think they're like 250, I'll check, but I think they're like 250 bucks a pop. Standard price. On sale, you can get them for much cheaper. That's what I did, so hopefully Big Bad Toy Store does that again if you guys are interested in this sort of thing. But let's go ahead and dive into it. All right, so they stand Star Platinum. We're going to get them both done in one video. Star Platinum stands to where his head would be, about 23 centimeters, including the hair. It's closer to 26, and that's going to be roughly, we'll call it 9 and 10 inches, give or take. So decent size. Here he is up against Darwin. So they are big. They are significantly bigger than the small releases of these guys. And they're not just upscaled versions. They are new figures entirely, so that's kind of good. Then here they are next to each other. Jotaro's just a little bit smaller, but we'll do a height measurement for him as well. Might just be the hair. Yeah, he's a touch shorter. I'd say like 8 3/4 inches to the top of the head, a little bit higher for the hat and hair, and that's going to be about, I don't know, 22 and then 23. So a little bit smaller, but still pretty good. Now, as far as the aesthetic goes on these guys, the SAS figures are generally some of the best looking action figures out there. The sculpts are very detailed, very style specific, I would say. They match the JoJo's figures style, or JoJo's anime or manga style, very well. And they just nail the sculpt. It's so good. There's so much detail. And then the paint job, as you can see, is just exquisite. There's paint everywhere. There's shading everywhere. These guys are so vibrant, and, well, he's gray and black mostly, but the colors that are there are done very well. And then this guy couldn't be more vibrant. The purple and green combo is wonderful. Let's do another question of the day. Which color combo for Star Platinum do you prefer? I am more of the purple persuasion for him. I also like blue, but I think green technically counts as P1, so I'm okay with the green. That's all right. And as far as I know, they haven't released alternate color versions of this guy, any of these guys. But yeah, they look great. They're shading and just wonderful paint throughout. Absolutely wonderful aesthetic. I'm going to go, given the high price, I'm only going to go 9.5 out of 10. Just because they're so damn expensive for what they are. I think we could have a few things tweaked here and there, but, you know, just like little nitpicks, nothing super worth mentioning even. So yeah, they look gorgeous. I love the aesthetic. Now, as far as accessories go, they both come with this big high gloss base with a metal upright that's flexible, and then a clear acrylic grip. I don't care for these stands personally because they're really only good for the figures off the ground. If they're doing like a flight pose sort of thing, a jump or something. The stands don't hold them for crap while they're standing on the base because their uprights are too tall. So I don't like them personally. I probably won't use them if I had to guess. All right, then otherwise, Star Platinum comes with the alternate yelling head, which is great. So you have the neutral head and then the yelling head. They're both exceptional. He comes with the 2 relaxed hands that come on him in the package. You get 2 fist hands, 1 pointing finger hand, and then 1 stretchy finger hand. It's pretty good spread, but no multi-punch hand or effect part or anything like that. I think that is a problem at the price. So kind of low on the accessory count for the ridiculously high price, even when they're on sale. More accessories would be good. And then Jotaro comes with the neutral head and then 1 head where he's looking off to the side. 2 loose hands that come on him in the package, 2 fist hands, 2 pointing finger hands, well, 1 pointing finger hand and 1 other hand, and then 2 hands that are for tucking into his pockets. Decent spread, but again, kind of light given the price point. And I have to say, the way they did the pockets on this guy, they're just a little bit too high up, I think, and so it makes him look a little bit weird. I'll show you on the package. Makes him look a little bit weird when he's putting his hands in his pockets because they're really high up, so he kind of has to really wrench his wrists to get his hands in there. But you can probably finagle that to make it look decent. So it's a decent spread of accessories. Normally it'd be like a 7 or 8, I guess, maybe even higher. But at the price point without any effect parts, I'm going to knock the accessories down to a 6. Now, the SAS stuff tends to be pretty expensive, especially recently. If you bought the original, like normal SAS JoJo's figures, they were like $40, which was, I mean, it was a long time ago, but it was great. And now they're like 90 or $100 on the regular, and that's crazy. But they are gorgeous and they come with good stuff. So you get that. Not the best accessories, but you get that set of accessories. Now let's go ahead and run the articulation quickly. We'll do Jotaro first, and then we'll call it a wrap. Ball pegs in the neck, or in the top of the neck. Little ball peg in the bottom of the neck also, but you're not really getting much out of it, so it's mostly just going to be on the top. But it works well enough. That's fine. Real metal chain. That's all right. I don't love the way they did the shoulder thing here. I think they could have been a little bit more clever about that at the price point. It's not terrible given the actual art style. It's just a little funky looking, but it works. So you get your ball hinge, and there's a ball peg in there to let the whole thing move around. You do get your full rotation. No bicep swivel. It's just up in the shoulder, which I absolutely hate, but that's common for this brand, so it just kind of sucks. No bicep swivel there. Double jointed elbow does work nicely. Not the best looking thing, but really good range. And technically you get your bicep swivel down there as well. So you can get by on these figures. They're fine as far as articulation goes, but their designs are sometimes questionable, like up here. And unfortunately, just like the little guys, we tend to see loose joints. This guy's really loose, especially for the price point, but his shoulder's not as tight as it should be at all. Ball hinge wrist is nice. That'll work wonderfully. For the torso, yeah, he's definitely looser than he should be. For the torso, we have some ball pegs. Again, they love ball pegs, and ball pegs are good. Not the best range, but it's there, so it'll work. Then you get more down here at the lower torso, which is actually much nicer. But yeah, it'll pose. It'll be fine. He will be hard to stand on his own due to looseness, and I'll show you that in a second. But the joints are there, so if you want to do it, you can. The jacket is connected on some ball hinges. It's not the most clever way of doing it. It's not the best looking thing, but it works. And if you spend some time with it, you can actually get it to look decent. So that's okay. They are, again, though, often too loose in certain places. Usually the hinge on the ball hinge, the hinge part is too loose on these guys. All right, for the hips, they did drop downs, which I do not like generally. But if memory serves, the standard SAS JoJo's figures didn't have good hip range. It's still not great, and drop downs are usually not the answer, and they aren't here either. But you get decent enough range going out to the side. It's not a super loose hinge, so I guess that's all right. And then going forward, it's not bad. Like, his hips are not too bad. I think they could be better without that drop down, but they work well enough. Thigh swivel right there built into the hip. Double jointed knee is fine. Looks good. Good enough, good range. Now the problem really comes to this guy at the ankles. They're really loose. He does not like to stand because of them. The hinge part is not tight enough. But you do get a full-on ball hinge, so you get decent ankle rocker. And the range is, I guess, good enough, given the pants are there, but it's just not tight enough. And then his toe joint is kind of garbo. very little range, and it's completely floppy. So yeah, it's not the best in terms of articulation. It'll be good enough, and if you can find a nice pose to balance him in, which I'm guessing is just going to be the standing with the finger out pose that most people are going to want to do, but it'll be fine. It's not ideal that he has loose joints, especially at the price point, but the articulation is technically there. This knee is really loose. This one is not so bad. This one, very loose. Anyway, it's not bad in the overall sense, but the looseness is a serious problem. So be aware of that. Now, for Star Platinum, it's mostly the same stuff going on. We have some ball pegs. His neck, is his neck actually articulated? Let's see. Yeah, it is, but just like Jotaro, it barely moves at all. There's almost no place for the neck to go. So you're going to be doing most of your head posing on the top of the neck, which is fine by me because double ball pegs are wonderful, and he can do it pretty well, even with the hair and the scarf. That's fine. Shoulder pads are connected at the top with a little ball hinge in there. They don't get out of the way too much, but it's enough. It'll do. I think it would have been better to connect them to the arms probably, but you can get by. So you have the big ball peg in the shoulder for the arm to move on. You have the ball hinge inside. But again, this cap style shoulder is like one of the worst things you can do, honestly, in action figures. It's not a good way to do joints. It's not ideal. You don't get your bicep swivel up there at all that you normally would have. Luckily, they did a decent job with this one because it's still a pretty big ball, but it would have been better if they just did a traditional joint. His is one of the better examples, though. I'll give them that. But you get all the range you need, but you could do a lot more if the shoulder pads moved with the arms. All right, and then same type of elbows, double ball hinge, good range. Looks a little bit weird the way the elbow pad sticks out, but it's there, and you do get more bicep swivel there. Ball hinge wrist is nice. Well, it's not an ab crunch. The diaphragm joint on this guy goes back and forward pretty well. Side to side's not great, but it's okay. A little bit of waist twist up there, that's all right. Then down here, we do have more. It's not quite as good as Jotaro, but it's there. Moves around pretty well. This is a floating piece, but you're going to want to leave it down because it's meant to be connected to here, which does not really move too much. It does move. I guess it moves enough. Yeah, it moves enough. The reason I say it doesn't move too much is when you bring the legs forward, it moves awkwardly. So like it just sticks out to the side a little bit. So it's kind of weird. But also, when you move that, you just have green peeper under there. And obviously there's nothing down there, but it's a little bit strange. So I don't know if you want to do that too much. But yeah, the loincloth pieces are on little ball hinges. I'm not sure how effective that is, but they do move. All right, for the hips, same sort of deal. We have the hinge ball peg. All right, so you can bring the hip out to the side. Almost full on splits. Not so bad at all. That's pretty solid. And he's not as loose as Jotaro. He's a little bit loose, but not as bad. He can kick forward pretty well. So yeah, as far as hinged ball pegs go for hips, they're still super annoying, but they're some of the better ones we've seen. So his hips work okay. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee, no problem at all. Slightly loose, not as bad. No swivel in the boot. I thought there was, but doesn't seem to be. So I guess not. All right, and then for the ankles, we have the ball hinge, which has very little range because this is here and there's no room back here. So very, very little range. You do get your ankle rocker out of it. That's okay, but not great. Luckily, it's not floppy loose. Toe hinge is not well done at all again. So he's a little bit better than Jotaro, but unfortunately the SAS figures, despite, gosh, those hips are annoying. Despite having all of the joints you would need to have good articulation, they don't tend to pose that well. So I'll give both of them articulation ratings of only, I'll say 7 for this one, and I guess 6 for Jotaro because he's extra loose. But the good news is typically their accessories make up for that. These ones have just enough, I'd say, but the sculpt and paint make up for everything, if you ask me. If you're already into buying these, they are gonna look gorgeous. So if you can get by on what they gave you in terms of accessories and articulation, it's still gonna look damn good on a shelf. So I'm gonna give these guys an overall rating of, if you can get them on sale, 8 out of 10. They're some of the best looking action figures out there. They do have their problems, and so if you can't get them on sale, I would not even buy them. Honestly, they're just too expensive. Even though they're big and they're really nice looking, $250 is way too much for what these are. And I think they're right around that. Maybe they're a little different. I'll put them on screen, but they're pretty close to that. So yeah, that to me is just nuts. Even when they're on sale, I think I got them for like 30% off or 40% off, something like that. It's still kind of a hard bullet to bite. But you could bite the bullet, and you, I think, would be okay because the figures look good enough for that. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it from me for today. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos every day but Wednesday, normally. I'll get back to that soon. And I do have thousands of videos already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.